What is going on, everyone? As we look forward to this Week 3 matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Houston Texans are looking for their first victory in the head coach DeMeco Ryans era. They released their unofficial depth chart for this game. We will also be going through the injury report for the Houston Texans. We had some starters come back to practice today. Very great for the offense and the defense. We're going to break this down. Welcome everyone to the 713 Houston Sportcast. I am your host, Ruben Calvillo. I drop daily Houston Texans content, so make sure you guys are following me on my Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for the latest Texans news, rumors, and updates. And if you are new here to the channel, welcome. Trying to hit 8,000 subscribers by week 5 or 6. Please help me get there. Like and share today's video, and thank y'all so much for being a part of this so far. Now first, let's start with some Houston Texans injury updates. There was no Jalen Pitre again at practice today, as we all know, dealing with a bruised lung that he suffered in the Week 1 matchup against the Baltimore Ravens, was coughing up blood after a play, had to stay overnight in Baltimore at a hospital. Jalen Pitre, man, is a huge part of this Houston Texans defense. There is a reason why he has that C on his chest. Houston Texans fans are expecting that when Jalen Pitre gets back healthy, he has a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type of year. We have an update from head coach DeMeco Ryans. This is a quote from Aaron Wilson. Texans coach DeMeco Ryans on Jalen Pitre bruised lung. In great spirits, he's been leading throughout the week. He's a special young man, happy to coach him, encouraged with this process on his way back. Think he'll be good to go pretty soon. Doesn't sound like he is back against the Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe next week against the Pittsburgh Steelers or later the New Orleans Saints. But Jalen Pitre, man, a huge part of this Houston Texans team, a captain of this team. You need him back. We have some updates about cornerback Tavier Thomas. Broke his hand against the Colts, finished the game. Shout out to you, a big display of toughness there. We need those type of dogs on this Houston Texans team. This is an update from Aaron Wilson. Nickel Tavier Thomas broke bone in hand Sunday, played with soft cast, finished the game. Surgery Tuesday was a successful procedure, not immediately placed on injured reserve, and could return in the next few weeks potentially. Head coach DeMeco Ryans said Grayland Arnold was gonna, play in his spot while he is out, but it sounds like Tavier Thomas could come back in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That is huge, man. Tavier Thomas, as we all know, some fans were worried about him as he was chosen on this 53-man roster in favor of Desmond King. Nonetheless, Tavier Thomas, get healthy and come back and make plays for this Houston Texans defense, man. And shout out to you for finishing the game with a broken hand. Now switching to some players that were injured and came back to practice. Jimmie Ward has returned. Now look, this is huge. Jimmie Ward, another one of your captains on this Houston Texans team, but this is a guy who followed DeMeco Ryans from San Francisco. This is a guy who embodies the swarm more than any other player currently on this roster. And I wonder how this Houston Texans defense is going to play when Jimmie Ward is out there compared to these last 2 weeks. I expect a fire on this Houston Texans team. You know Jimmie Ward is going to be giving out the pregame speech. His debut for the Houston Texans against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jimmie Ward, man, I was so excited when the Houston Texans signed him in free agency. This is a leader of your defense, a leader of your entire team. I am glad that he was back practicing. Someone else who was back practicing, Laremy Tunsil, your Pro Bowl left tackle, didn't play against the Indianapolis Colts, was dealing with a knee issue that sent Houston Texans Twitter into a frenzy. You had people saying, bench CJ Stroud, don't let him go out there and get hurt. But man, Laremy Tunsil coming back is a huge sigh of relief. One of the best left tackles in the NFL, another captain of this Houston Texans team. Head coach DeMeco Ryans said, good to see Laremy back out there. We'll see how he does through the week. Sounds like they are still going to be monitoring that knee. But to have two of your captains come back, man, at a time where your highlight is your rookie quarterback CJ Stroud. Man, I feel more comfortable against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not saying we're going to go out there and win the game, but I feel better about my defense now that it has Jimmie Ward back, and my offensive line, who got CJ Stroud sacked 6 times last week, is now back. The rest of the injury report for the Houston Texans. Denzel Perryman did not practice, dealing with a hand and wrist injury. Tavier Thomas, as we all know, did not practice, hand. Tank Dell, thigh, limited. George Fant, ankle and knee, limited. Jonathan Grenard, knee, limited. Eric Murray, concussion, still practice, but limited. CJ Stroud, right shoulder, limited. Laremy Tunsil, his knee, limited. Jimmie Ward, hip, limited. And Robert Woods, rest, limited. Shout out to Robert Woods for giving one of those veteran rest days. Now switching to the Houston Texans unofficial depth chart for this game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Starting with your offense, CJ Stroud. He was dealing with a shoulder injury before the Colts game, was listed as questionable. You had some fans wanting him not to play, but he went out there, almost threw for 400 yards, was at practice today. According to Aaron Wilson, he looked good. CJ Stroud, 100% healthy, man. Expect them to ball out against the Jags. Dameon Pierce, Andrew Beck, no surprise there. Your 2 starting wide receivers, Robert Woods, Nico Collins. Both of these guys lead the NFL in catches on 3rd and 4th down, and they're tied for 1st with 6. Your offensive line finally is going to have Laremy Tunsil back. Josh Jones, your left guard. Rookie center Jared Patterson. Right guard Shaq Mason. Right tackle George Fant. A shout out to George Fant. He's put together a nice couple of games. But it feels good seeing Laremy Tunsil back on the depth chart. And as always, your tight end Dalton Schultz, you need him to be much more involved. Switching to the defense. Will Anderson Jr., Malik Collins, Sheldon Rankins, Jonathan Grenard, your defensive line. No sacks against the Indianapolis Colts. That needs to turn around. They need to get to Trevor Lawrence and make him uncomfortable. Your linebacking group, a new name. Christian Harris, Denzel Perryman, and your Sam linebacker, rookie Henry To'oTo'o, started against the Indianapolis Colts. Shout out to the rookie for getting immediate playing time for DeMeco Ryans and this Houston Texans defense. Your cornerback group, it won't be Tavier Thomas, it's going to be Grayland Arnold, Derek Stingley, Steven Nelson. And your 2 starting safeties, one of them will be Jimmie Ward. He is coming back. The other one, Eric Murray, even though he had a concussion, was still practicing. And he looked decent against the Colts, right? Obviously, you need Jalen Petrie back, but Eric Murray has done just fine. This is your unofficial depth chart for the Houston Texans against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We also gave you some injury updates about this team. Man, you guys let me know how you feel on Wednesday about the game against the Jaguars with Laremy Tunsil and Jimmie Ward coming back to practice. Guys, y'all have a very blessed day. And for more Houston Texans content, y'all know what to do. Just follow me for more.